Welcome to LifeGLOSS, a beauty podcast for sassy and seasoned women who have lived life and have a drawer full of lip gloss to prove it.
Welcome back to LifeGLOSS. We're talking InflammAGIng today. And if you're wondering, what is that even a word? InflammAGIng? It's inflammation-related aging. So listen up, it's known as the silent killer, and you may very well have inflammation raging through your body. Inflammaging. See how I did that? But it's causing aging. We're going to talk about it.
Talk about it. Yeah, it's like the house is on fire. Is it hot in here or is it me? I mean, all these things. It's all part of aging. It's all part of inflammation. The skin gets flushed. The body overheats. It just, it's like a furnace working overtime. And it shows up on the skin and it starts, breaking stuff down and you start to look older and puffier or redder. But it's an interesting marketing term, but it's a term that actually I think is, look, I'm no scientist, but it sounds pretty scientific. It sounds like something that we should all be talking about and all be concerned about. I think it was Dr. Perricone actually who really was one of the first who coined, the phrase inflammaging. But if you really break it down, it makes sense.
Right.
Inflammation and aging, inflammaging.
Right. And if you didn't see our last episode with him, scroll back a few. He is coming back, so we're going to get more of him. Give us your questions. But it's true. And one of the things that he noticed when he was studying diseased tissue under the microscope is that if there was no inflammation present, there was no disease present. So what he found was whenever I see disease, inflammation is also present. So there, what is the correlation? And could the inflammation have something to do with the disease? So we're actually talking about something that goes far more systemically than just our skin and how we look. By the time it gets to your skin, it truly is raging throughout your entire body. Sure, hormones, menopause, aging, all of that is inflammation too. What we wanted to talk about today is that inflammation is something that goes on subtly inside the body all the time. That's why having an anti-inflammatory diet is so important. But you can hit it topically too. Rosacea, menopause, all those things. Plus, towards the end of our time together, I want to spend a little bit of time talking to those people at home, and you know who you are, that are overdoing it with acids, with dermal rolling, with, all of the stuff that you're doing to your skin to create micro abrasions or micro injuries, because then you build collagen as you heal. You can do that once in a while, but if you're always in a state of pro-inflammation, a pro-inflammatory state, you can't heal. So too much is too much. So, but we've got some fun stuff before we get to the serious stuff.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
wearing makeup today.
I am. Did everybody notice? I actually put on some makeup. I put on a little eyeliner. I was having fun with color. I think we talked a couple of episodes ago about, just sort of, I don't know, having some fun with makeup again and not taking it so seriously. So I had to take the kid to the orthodontist this morning before school. And I don't know, I think I just got up so early that I was like, I'm just going to toss on some eyeliner and throw caution to the wind. So that's what I did. But I also pulled some products because at the same time when I got home, and I'll put on my glasses so I can actually see what I'm doing now. I got an order from Sephora. So I thought I would just really quickly share some things. This doesn't have anything to do with inflammation, but it really did calm me down getting a little Sephora package.
Sure.
So when I got back and had my, little eyeliner on, I decided to go through this package and I want to share it and tell you what's
That's
going
good.
back and what I'm keeping. All right. So
Ready.
what do you want to start with? Do you want to start with like what's going back, what's going to my daughter, and what I'm keeping? What do you
Yeah,
want?
sure.
Okay. So what is going to my daughter? Okay. Meaning, she's going to be 18 next month. She is not a makeup wearer, but she does enjoy little bits and things. So I decided to jump on the milk train. I know they, been getting a really lot of press again and kind of having a little bit of a comeback again. So I thought, what I got sucked in by a color hill. So there is a new gloss. It is their Odyssey, the lip oil gloss, those hybrids.
Hmm.
You know, why I don't listen to myself when I say, Susan, you don't like those hybrids. And I thought, but maybe I'll like this one because I love me a gloss. I am a gloss girl. I love to toss on and go. This is in my wheelhouse, this color right here. It's a shade called Wander, which is perfect for me.
Hmm.
And because I do like to wander, especially when I'm shopping and roaming around. So I loved the color. It didn't have shimmer. I thought this is the perfect throw it on and go out of the house. You know who you are, listeners. If you're like me, toss it on without having to look in a mirror and you look good. Instantly done.
Yeah.
But it's a gloss oil hybrid. So what does that mean? It means it's really sheer. It means it doesn't have a lot of length in the time of wear. It doesn't have that rich, glossy feel that I like. Some
Right.
people like to feel nothing on their lips. If that's you, you will love this. It feels like nothing. And therefore, it is
I
nothing.
want.
I
Because
need
we
like
came
an,
from the MAC lip gloss
yeah,
days. We don't
I
want it
need
that sticky, but we want.
I need an unctuous lip. I need a lip that I can use a fork and knife with. I
Mhm.
don't want a teaspoon lip. I don't want this little like, oh, it feels like air, not anything. No, I'm not that person. I want a lip.
Yeah.
So if you don't want a lip, but you just want a little moisture and gloss and go, I think these are great. So I'm
So
not going to do
I've
them.
been a bad, 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 bad friend. Today I'm going to the post office. I'm sending you this. This is your color.
That's my
Yeah.
color. I
This is
see
your
that.
color.
That's a
Look.
me. It's a pinky
Uh-huh.
nude. It's a pinky nude.
But it's not too
Ooh.
pink.
Yeah, but look at that gloss. Look at that thickness, that
Mm-hmm.
that viscosity,
Mm-hmm.
that that's a fork and knife lip right there, my
This is
friend.
a fork, and it's full of shea, jojoba, healing
Yes.
stuff. This is a young blood one. It's their
Okay.
color called Amore. So
All
I'm
right.
sending
Well,
you some love. I'll do it
drive
today. I promise.
drive down the hills of Hollywood and toss that in the post to
Hmm.
your friend.
I will
Um,
toss it in the post to you.
because this is going to my daughter. She
Okay.
will love this. This is Gen Z, man. This is that natural light. It's
Yeah.
a gloss oil. It's not too heavy. It's really sheer, non-committal. She'll love this. So here you go, daughter of mine. You have a
She's
gloss.
lucky.
That's going to her. And that's kind of her color because it's just
Hmm.
very natural.
She's a redhead more.
She's not a redhead. She'd kill you if she heard you say that. She's not. She's golden. She's sort of like a light brown golden. You can't say redhead to these kids. They'll like have a heart attack. She's not a redhead. Nothing against redheads. She is not though.
I'm
Um,
a proud redhead.
I know, but she didn't get that gene. I don't know.
Okay.
Okay, so let's see. So that's going to her. That's going to the daughter. So it's not going back. It's going to my daughter because I do think she'll like that. So, want to know what I'm keeping or want to know what's going back?
What's going back and why?
Okay. So this one's heartbreaking to me, but I really wanted to love this and it's not working for me. Might work for you, but I do tend to have a drier skin. So this is not working for me. This is Charlotte Tilbury, the Unreal Sheerskin Glow Tint. It is a
Huh.
foundation and shimmer in a stick all in one. It is so pretty. I love the color. It is so beautiful. It's almost like a tinted moisturizer in a stick and
Mhm.
it's very glowy, super high mica load, like a light bulb exploded on my skin. Which I kind of love. Here's my issue. Because I'm a drier skin, when I put this on and I looked all glowy, but then I looked close in the mirror, it was patchy. It like didn't lay nicely.
Question.
Yes.
Can you use it as a highlighter?
Yeah. Yeah, I could,
Did you
but
keep it?
it has coverage in it. So it's sort of
Mm.
like a tinted moisturizer in a stick. And I wanted to love this so badly, but it's not
Yeah.
working on me. It made my skin look, and I don't, if you're a person with pores,
No.
this,
Oh,
this is
I was
not
gonna
for
say
you.
send it to me, but no.
It's, I would, but you'll hate it. I
No,
know you will.
I'll hate
And
it because I have pores. See.
yeah, if you have pores, this is not for you. If you're poreless,
Mm-mm.
this is perfect. I would love to see this. I think I'm going to be honest. I think it might be for someone younger, who just doesn't have any pores or anything and just wants to glow. But I
Fair
wanted to
enough.
love this. So I'm kind of oh, I'm bummed out. I'm irritated. And you're right. I could probably keep it and just use it under my eyes or as a highlighter, but I have
No.
650.
If the mica load is too heavy, you don't even want it under your eyes.
It's
So, okay, show us
really
what else did you get?
okay. So then what am I keeping? What am I
Yeah.
loving? So in the ever expanding world of concealers, because it seems like everyone and his dog is doing a concealer these days.
Concealer is the new blush. Yes.
I mean, concealer's the new blush this month. I went ahead and got the Gucci Westman concealer that everybody's talking about. Yes, we love her packaging from Italy. I'm sure it's from Italy. It's so beautiful, so luxe. I love her whole brand, love the whole line. It's really targeted to us over 40. Love, love, love. I have to say, the concealer is excellent. Now,
Hmm.
I will tell you this, it is a concealer, meaning it is not a serum hybrid concealer. It is not a sheer concealer. It is not a highlighting concealer, nor is it a thick cream wax concealer. It is for, in my opinion, probably skin that's more mature or maybe leans more towards dry because it's creamy. But at
Hmm.
the same time, it's coverage, it's opaque. It is a thick concealer. This is not a sheer wash concealer.
Okay.
This is, wow, I
So we're
didn't
going
sleep
back to
last
the
night.
80s, 90s. This is a like old school. Here's a concealer.
It is, but at the same time, Hill, I'm going to be honest with you, she did a beautiful job of it's so malleable. It just has a beautiful, it's matte, but it glows, but it doesn't shimmer. You can tell she put years into this. I got to
I've
tell you, she
been
did a great job.
I've been hearing on TikTok from some of my people
Mhm,
um, that know my age, from
mhm,
my vintage beauty. A few of them are makeup artists and just beauty lovers, of course. And
mhm.
a couple of them have said, "Hey, we have the Maxine's Revenge. We love it, but
Oh,
have you tried? There's this new one, and if you want even different kind of coverage, like they didn't even
it's,
know exactly what to say either. They were like, it's just different."
well, I'm
So
going to tell you.
I'll go.
As a
Yeah,
professional makeup artist,
yeah.
it is totally different. It
Okay.
is, it is this, you can use it, as a concealer, or you
How
can
would you
spot.
use it?
I used it just as a concealer around my nose. I put a
Okay.
dot on my chin and under my eyes. Am I going to then buff it out and use it all over my face? No. I'm going to do that with my Maxine's Revenge. I'm going to do that with Kosas. I'm going to do that with more of a serum liquidy concealer.
Right.
This is really meant to conceal. I would not personally use this as an all over wash. I suppose you could, but
Right.
I, when I haven't slept or allergy season
Oh,
or
right.
just having a rough day, this is what I'm going to grab. This provides a
Okay.
lot of coverage. She's a beauty. It's really good, but I've been wearing it most of the day.
Okay. I was going to
I
ask you how
have to
to
tell you,
wear.
I'm not getting any breakdown, and I have my eye cream on. I'm not getting any, there's no separation at all. I'm not getting any, funny lines and
Ooh,
wrinkle, like nothing
you did work
settling.
on
I got to tell you, did a really, really good job on this.
that. Okay.
So if you're looking for a concealer that is a concealer, this is a really good one.
You know what I've
Again,
picked up lately now that I happen to be
yeah,
sitting next to my makeup bag? You know
yeah.
what I pulled out that I haven't used for a long time? For
What?
those of you that get, you know, color here, because I have a lot of see-through on my eyelids that can make me look sick.
Mhm.
And sometimes things will crease because I have, hooded lids more on this side than on this side.
Mhm.
I forgot Anastasia does this pencil
Yeah.
and it's dry. It's
Yeah,
a
it's very dry.
very dry
Mhm.
pencil and it's called her Pro Pencil. It's called an eyeshadow primer and a
Mhm.
color corrector.
Yeah.
I use it all over just in those tough spots when I don't want things to move.
Yeah.
And it's dry, so you do be aware of that. But
Yeah. Yeah. And speaking of eyes, I this is the
yeah.
eye pencil I put on. I told you I would tell you earlier. It's the Urban Decay, the 24/7. You know I love the 24/7s.
Hmm.
They're just good. They're easy, they're quick. They're a gel hybrid pencil. This color is called Alkaline, and it
Oh,
is really, really like a reddish, aubergine, purpley kind of. It's great with green eyes, blue eyes. I have to tell you, if you're someone who doesn't wear liner or you tend to use browns or colors like that a lot because you don't want color per se, this is a nice little branch out. Trying something that's kind of like between a plum and a brown, a little bit of a red, kind of trendy. I
mhm.
like it. I like it a lot.
And
So
it
I just
kind of
added
gives
that.
you, it's edgy because it kind of makes you look a little ill, but not ill. It's fashion. It's a
Okay,
fashion color.
ill, but not ill. All right,
You
I'll
know what I
take
mean?
it.
No, you know what I mean? It's a fashion color. You have to have balls to wear that color.
It's a fashion color.
The
Yeah,
fashion color.
yeah,
It's the second the screen came on, I looked at you and I was like, ooh,
yeah. It's edgy, like me.
edgy. Yeah, well, hello, when you wear makeup, you wear cool colors. It reminds me of the Aubergine mascara by Chanel from the 90s. Do you remember that one?
I still have it. And
I
it's
lived for that.
this color is a lot like there's the Chanel eye pencil I own
Huh?
that's very much like it's actually that Chanel one is a little bit more even red than, but
Yeah.
this one's a little more, this is like a burgundy plum. But
Okay.
it's not a plum. It's definitely leads more burgundy. But anyway, it's called Alkaline. It's super fun and cool. If you're out there and you're looking for something that isn't brown or black and you want to just have some fun, I have
Yeah.
to say, I'm kind of digging
It's
it. I'm
cool.
sure I'll get a comment when, the kids get home. They'll be like, what are you doing? But, that's okay.
Whatever.
They know by now there'll be something going on when they come home. So
Mhm.
that's the little haul that we did recently. That's kind of some of the fun that we had.
I love
And
it.
I think that's what makeup's all about, right? Trying new things. And I just want our listeners to know that, we're still trying stuff. There's stuff we like, stuff we don't like. And please, if we even have to disclaim this, just because there's something that I loved or didn't love doesn't mean you won't.
Yeah.
I think that's why we try to show both sides. Like if I had skin like this, I would like it, or, So do with the information what you want, friends.
Yeah, maybe at the end, I'll show you guys a contraption that I've been experimenting with. Because for those of you that are just joining us, I'm the weird one. I'm the one that,
Is that okay? Is that a whole other episode though that we need to do for this? What are we gearing up towards here?
yeah, we can save this for another episode. Hmm.
I swear, here I am like, here's some new fun makeup I've been trying. And you're like, pulling out contraptions that we don't know what they are. Oh man,
Contraptions.
you
Yeah.
are. I
All right, next episode.
next episode we'll have to do that.
Next
So
episode.
the one thing that I am really excited though to talk about is not just, all this new and exciting stuff, is to really talk about this inflammation. And it's something that I live with chronic inflammation in my body. So I do certain things. And one of them I think you mentioned earlier, and that is an anti-inflammatory diet, which I have stuck with for years. But then the past few years, really stuck with. And it has made such a difference. What I'm eating and drinking internally definitely has made a change in my skin.
Definitely. And as you and I have discussed, I'm on the verge of getting a diagnosis that points to chronic inflammation, which I knew I had. And that's why I went to the doctor and I said, I need some blood tests because this is what's going on. And I think that this might be happening. They gave me a panel. They said, oh, 15% of the population test positive for that,
Mhm.
but you don't need to worry about it. And I said, no, I do need to worry about it because my body's changed. I'm seeing my body do these other things. And I had to really advocate and really push for the next level of tests. And they came back where I was supposed to be in the category of a 1. I'm an 8, and they've like freaked out. They're sending me to everyone. They're bumping appointments. I'm going to choose to approach it nutritionally myself, personally first before I do anything else. But yeah, it's all the triggers are like the house is on fire, the alarm bells are going off. But
I mean,
I
yeah.
knew it by the way my body was acting, and I've been on an anti-inflammatory diet my whole time. A lot of this is hereditary, and it's now activating. So,
I think you bring up a really good point, Hill, and that's something that I really want to put this out there to anyone who's listening. You have to remember in life, you know, a lot of what's happening internally, you're not crazy. All right. Find someone to listen to you. Find the doctor who understands you, no matter how many you need to go through to get there. But know that some stuff can be fixed or managed, I should say, better word, through diet, exercise, sleep, nutrition, etc. If you do all those sort of biomarkers, you hit all those things, you're living your life like you do and like I do, very healthy, very aware, very mindful. Just kidding. But if you do that, but you're still noticing the inflammation or stuff is still coming up in your blood work through your physician's office, I think that's where you need to come to a realization and almost an acceptance and understanding that some stuff is genetic, some stuff is hereditary, some stuff we cannot control. We can manage and we can partner with it,
right.
but we might not be able to control it. So I think that's what we want to talk about with the InflammAGING, the
Mhm.
things that you can do to help quell inflammation of the skin, you know, meditation, anti-inflammatory foods. You can eat the salmons, follow the diet, eat the blueberries, certain supplements
So
help,
many
not
supplements.
smoking, exercising, move your body 30 minutes every day. Like, we're not telling women,
Laughing, having
yeah,
sex, had a
yeah,
puppy, hold a
exactly.
baby.
Come and hold the dog. We're
Yeah.
not telling any of our listeners anything they're not already hearing every day. Like, it's out there now. The whole anti-inflammatory movement. This is stuff that you and I have been doing, for years, right?
Yeah.
But
But
there are,
sometimes things still go haywire in your body. It
and I
happens.
think that when menopause hits for many women, it creates this perfect storm, as I call it, where you can be living this anti-inflammatory lifestyle, you can be doing all the things we just talked about, and then all of a sudden you go through menopause, come out on the other side, right? You're going through that moment of change. And it's almost like a storm hits. And this is where we see upticks and flare ups of all types of different things happening in the body and happening with our skin. And so many things I look back and, I know when I got sick a few years ago, it was right around that same time. It was like you start digging like Nancy Drew and you're like, wait a minute, that's like a perfect storm situation. And little things like you notice your hair changes, your skin changes, like, and all of a sudden you're like, why is that moisturizer not working as well anymore? Why is that color not laying down as well anymore? Friends, these are all little signs. These are
Why
all
does
little
my
signs.
fragrance not smell the same anymore?
Yes,
Even your fragrance can change. Mhm.
100%. So these are all little signs that you need to do things like go to your doctor once a year, get your blood work done once a year. I just had mine done last week. It's so important to put together your team of beauty and put together your team of internals and your doctors and really realize that these changes are going to happen. Inflammation will happen. I don't know anyone. I was trying to think the other day. Do I know anyone that hasn't said to me they're not inflamed lately? Like, everyone is living in this inflammatory state, even doing so many of the things we're talking about, living well and eating
Yeah.
right and all this. So let's
You're
talk about
never
the
going to get
beginning.
you're never going to get a perfect
You're
baseline.
never going to
We
get,
live in a
yeah,
toxic world. We can't live in
totally.
bubbles. We have to be
Yep.
happy.
Yep.
So, find the joy. I'm talking to this company called Rebalance
Hmm.
um, later this week. So I'm going to update everyone. Rebalance was started by a gentleman for his wife that was experiencing elevated cortisol and all of these issues around menopause. My understanding so far is that they really target cortisol, and they do it with sublingual pellets morning, noon, and night that have a measured dose mostly of um, herbs. That's what I have the information for right now. I'm going to find out more, but it's more of an herbal sort of a supplement that helps to naturally lower cortisol. I don't know a lot. Stay tuned, and I'm going to find out more because cortisol's the killer.
Cortisol, though, I will tell you this, cortisol can only, if correct me if I'm wrong, and any listeners that are physicians out there, but from my physicians have told me, cortisol can only, you can only track your morning, noon, and night cortisol through a saliva test, through a sex hormone test. And that will tell you where your cortisol levels are morning, noon, and night. I did that test to find out about mine. And interestingly enough, and I don't know how many other listeners are like this, and we share everything here, as you know, my cortisol levels were perfect, phenomenal. I couldn't believe it. They were great. I had no cortisol issues at all. Yet there's some inflammation in my body that I live with.
Right.
So again, I think we have to be so careful too, like, all of us, like, well, my cortisol, you don't know what's high and what isn't unless you have it tested. So be
Regularly.
careful just taking supplements, be careful just going on the TikTok bandwagon and, doing what everyone else is doing. You need to go and get tested. You need to go for your body and find out exactly what's going on. And I believe I've been told a certain amount of cortisol is important. You can have
Oh yeah,
too low a cortisol. So
you need it.
again,
You need
it's
it.
all, yeah,
You need
it's
it, but
all,
it can cause a cascade of problems. So, but
yeah,
you're right, Susan, and that this is what a lot of people don't know is they don't get testing when they're over 40. They don't get testing until there's a problem. Start getting testing so you have a baseline because, let's just face it, the white male doctors that have been measuring and studying menopause for decades, the normal range for us and our hormones is so broad
so
that
broad.
you could be in extreme problematic symptomatic situations and they're not going to help you. I've had people tell me no because you're just at the high end of normal. I've had other people look at full blood panels and they look at it, from a much wider view and they're like, "Of course you're miserable. This and this and this and this is off." So you have to find your baseline, start early, start, when you're in your late 30s, just get a test. One, keep it on file. You may not use it for a million years, but it'll be really good for you to see this is where my hormones were when I felt fine and great and good. And then in your 40s, your 50s, and your 60s, you'll be glad that you have that benchmark.
Yeah, you always want to have a baseline.
Yeah.
You always want to have a baseline.
Yeah.
I think that's important. But as far as what we can do as
Yeah.
non-physicians
Or
and
the
just
spirit.
women going through our stuff, let's talk about as makeup artists and professionals.
You
Yeah,
doing it?
what what we can do. I know we need to cheers. I had my hydrogen water earlier today. Um, but I think we should talk about certain topical things, things you want to stay away from if you're experiencing any type of inflammatory issues, like say, for instance, a rosacea or a puffiness or a dryness or anything you've noticed, flushing, etc. You want to stay away from ingredients in skincare and in makeup that contains things like menthol, camphor, crushed seeds and walnuts, anything that can cause little, I know Hillary's rolling her eyes because she's the esthetician who has seen skin destroyed with
Yeah.
overexfoliation. And
Yeah.
it becomes inflammatory because you're overexfoliating, right? But
And infected
also,
sometimes.
and infected, but also those ingredients, Hill, that are in makeup. Be careful, of doing anything or, nobody, I mean, do they even, I don't know, I was just thinking the other day, has anybody put retinol in foundation yet? Because I mean, I think like that's going to be like, you
They,
know,
we're seeing forms of vitamin A
Yeah,
in some foundations. In fact, Clinique was one of the first ones to do it in concealers for breakouts and
correct,
blemishes and things like that.
correct.
So
But you have to be really
really
careful
careful.
with the ingredients you're putting on your skin and think, more calming ingredients. Think things like
Soothe.
soothing. You want to think things like Centella asiatica. You want to think things like, um, oh, what's what I'm thinking? Niacinamide. Some
Even
of those
that you want to be
ingredients.
careful with. Yep.
Yeah, things that are more calming to the skin, more soothing to the
Snow
skin.
mushrooms, things like
Yes. Yes.
algae, snow mushrooms, Centella exotica, all of
Mhm.
those like delicious calming things. My whole PSA is this. So think of it this way. Your skin is designed to reproduce cells and to replicate cells. If you are constantly retching at your face and forcefully really speeding up the cell turnover while also creating micro injuries, people think, oh, I'm exfoliating and I'm derma rolling and putting all these serums in. So I'm exfoliating and I'm creating micro injuries. So I'm taking all the dead skin off so the serums can get in and I'm poking holes in my face. So my collagen's going to rebuild. Hang on a minute. You can do that in a derm's office, maybe at home. I don't even like people to derma roll at home,
I
but
wouldn't. That's true.
maybe once every 6 weeks, not every day. And let me tell you why. Because the skin needs time to replicate cells. If you have cells that are chronically damaged, if your epidermis, if your skin on the surface is always healing from a major peel or you're overdoing it on cocktailing your acids and your skin is ever so slightly burned. I have people coming to me being like, I exfoliate and I want my skin to be smooth, but it's so dry and rough. And I'm like, it's not dry and rough. That's a micro scab. Let it heal. It's weeping. It's begging. It's crying for you to leave it alone. Your cells replicate somewhat based on the cells that were there before them. So if you can get your skin as healthy as possible, you're going to be able to replicate healthy cells. Compromised cells, it's harder for them to make healthier cells. So give it a break. Get a laser once in a while. Do a big peel once in a while. Do the extreme, but do it more seasonally,
Mhm.
quarterly. And the things that you do at home, think, I want a happy, this is your home environment.
Mhm.
Children are happy in a calm home. Children aren't happy in a violent home. Think of it kind of that way because our bodies are so much smarter than the labs that are making products for us. So if you put your skin in an ultimate, balanced, nourished condition, you will be shocked at what it can do. I can't tell you how many people I see that over peel, over exfoliate, and they're like, I have all these dark spots, all this hyperpigmentation, it's getting so much worse. And I'm like, that's because your skin's on such high alert that even if you slather on sunscreen and walk to your mailbox, your skin is like, holy shit, I'm naked and I'm outside. Cover up, and it's making dark spots because it feels so exposed.
Yeah.
So easy does it, especially as we're getting older, because we have that internal stuff going on. Hot flashes can
Mm.
even trigger, tyrosinase, melanase, the melanocytes to pop off.
Right.
So you
Right.
don't have to walk around in a bubble. We're not fear mongering. Basically, what we're giving you is good news. You can do less and actually get a better result, is what we're saying.
100%. And I think, a
Don't
lot
get
of
caught up.
brands. Yeah, and a lot of brands are really addressing this, and you can tell InflammAGING out is coming out more and more in skincare. I just found a new one, Dende, online that is specifically targeted towards InflammAGING. And that looked interesting, so I might have a look at that. Elta MD has been addressing InflammAGING for years. Their whole skin recovery line is excellent for someone who has a very hypersensitive or inflamed skin. I personally use and have used for quite a few years now the EltaMD, the skin recovery serum in the pump. Anytime I get a flare up or my face gets red or aggravated, or I wore makeup that day and just it didn't agree with me, or just whatever life throws its way at me, I'll take a little bit of that serum and put it on. And the next day, my skin is just flawless. Like the redness is gone within an hour. That product is
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah.
So it's nice to see this, you know?
Every single project that I've worked on in product development lately, for when I say lately, almost the past decade, I've snuck in where possible, when it's other brands, obviously you can only do what you can do, when possible, a few anti-inflammatory ingredients just because their clients will keep coming back to
Yeah.
them more. I mean, the whole base for Beauty Hack,
Mhm.
Centella Azotica, snow mushroom, it's everything in there is about calming, hydrating, nourishing. So you can look for those. Just
And
start
makeup
looking.
brands too. Makeup
Yeah.
brands. You know, there's a lot of good ones that are, you know, I don't know about you, but years ago, I would always get clients asking me, I have rosacea or I have a lot of redness. What can I use? You know, Clinique was always the gold standard. And I think in a lot of cases, they still have their whole redness line. So I think Clinique is, you know, a nice sort of place to start. Elta MD, Revive has a whole anti-redness skincare line that's excellent.
Power
Um,
28 for
yes,
makeup. They're
yes,
actually approved by, the Psoriasis and Eczema
yes,
Foundation.
yes. Bare Essentials,
Mhm.
you know, spectacular mineral-based makeup often can be very, very gentle for skin that's inflamed. Be careful though, because sometimes mineral can also look really dry on the skin. So it's, you know, there's got to be a nice balance there. But Bare Essentials, I think, does a really good job if you're looking for something that is good for inflamed skin. I also think, of course, West Meditilier. I mean, she really does use a
Mhm.
lot of anti-inflammatory ingredients in her makeup line that are excellent. Jane Iredale, I know, is also another one. If you're looking for something
Well,
more naturally, you know.
I would actually take a look at Youngblood if you've ever used Bare Minerals or Jane and
Mhm.
you feel like you're tired of putting it on and waiting for it to oxidize and change and do all the things that minerals typically do, look at Youngblood because I found them in the cosmetic surgeon's office 20 plus years ago.
Yeah, they've
That's
been around a long time.
that's
Yeah.
all we used after CO2 laser because it would
Hmm.
help to heal. They don't use the cheap fillers, which is a zinc. The zinc is a cheap mineral filler. That's what oxidizes that both Bare Minerals and um, Jane use. They don't use zinc, so it won't turn. So
That's good to know.
if you're a more deeply pigmented skin and you want to use mineral makeup, look at Youngblood. They have the shades, they don't turn, and they're more pro luxury clean mineral. So
That's great.
if you've used the others and it might be time to upgrade, and they've done a really good job with hydration. So they have like a deep sea water
That's
foundation.
great. Because I do notice a lot of the mineral based they do tend to be a little chalky, a little drying, a little dry looking on the skin, which is fine. I mean, listen, not every woman gets older and gets drier skin. Some
Right.
women actually get oilier. So we're just letting you know things that we found to be true. And for my personal skin, it just tends to be very dry. But I do have a lot of friends and clients over the years that almost got more shiny and more oilier as the years went on. So you will love products like, you know, the Young Bloods and the Jane Iredales and the Bare Essentials. You'll love those mineral products. Your skin will just, you know, eat them up. But I think it's important to, whenever you're using makeup of any kind, really, you know, try to look at the back of these boxes, you know, try to take a look. We're not expecting everybody to, you know, all of a sudden become a scientist, but think of makeup and skincare almost like you do food. I read the back of anything. You know, I try not to eat much that comes out of a box, but if I do, I make sure that it has under a certain amount of ingredients. If I see a list of ingredients that's this long on the back of something, whether it's something I'm going to ingest or put on my face, I do tend to pause and think twice. If it just has like a whole, like, if it's like the Bible on the back, that's a lot of stuff on my skin, and I'll probably pass on it, and go to something maybe that tends to be a little less ingredients forward. Um, but I think there's definitely a lot more options out there now. Less is more,
Oh, mhm.
you know?
So the goal, I think really the whole point of this episode and the goal is to communicate to our audience that you can do more with less when you're looking to improve your skin. Because I think at a certain point we look in the mirror and we're like, oh, what am I going to do? Things are changing. I have to do so much. And there's all this information out there, and you want to go like on the attack. It's the exact opposite. Calm everything down from the inside, calm it all down from the outside, give everything a break, integrate slowly one at a time. That's really our biggest message here is, you'll be surprised once you baby your skin rather than beat it up, it's going to baby you back.
Yeah, I agree. I think that is probably the biggest takeaway from this episode for anyone. Beauty is meant to enrich, beauty is meant to heal, beauty is meant to make you feel good. It's not about beating yourself up. It's not about overdoing. We always want to like do too much. And if it's the one lesson I can say before put that makeup on in the morning, just breathe, think about it, then go forward, right? And I guess that's a good analogy for life, right? Think before you put the gloss on, right?
I love it. I love it. I'm excited. I'm sending this one to you. But we
I'm
still
excited.
have fun.
I'm so excited to try that. Thank you for thinking of me and sending it to me.
Of
And
course. I can't wait to show you guys my contraption on our next episode.
oh my God, stay
What are
tuned
we
for the
what are we
contract.
talking
Wait,
about next time,
wait,
Susan?
wait, Hill, we just had a whole episode on less is more and breathe and be natural and anti-inflammatory. And then you're showing like straps and things that you're
I
doing
have
to your,
problems.
I don't even
I have
know
a
what's
curious
happening.
mind. I
You,
am still a working makeup artist, so I need to know these things.
okay, well,
I know.
yeah. I mean, well,
Listen, you're gonna get it all here, okay? We're
if
not sitting
anybody out
here.
there ever wants a little human guinea pig, Hillary's your girl. She'll give it a go for sure. She'll try it.
I have to stay informed for the people.
You really do. You have to stay informed for me so that I can call you and say, "Hey, why don't you try this, Hill? Yeah,
Uh-huh.
that's a good idea."
But you stick your finger in the light
Yeah, why
socket.
don't you stick your finger in the
Can
socket?
you imagine?
Yeah, pretty
If we were
much.
sisters for real, I would have been getting like, I don't know if I would have made it. You would have been just doing it to see if you could get me to do it and laugh.
Pretty much. You would have been the one always in a timeout, and I would have been standing in the corner going,
Hmm.
yeah, big sister, little sister, what can I tell you? So, yes, until next week, my friends,
Stay
stay
glossy,
glossy,
but go check us out. Instagram,
please.
TikTok, at LifeGLOSS Podcast. We love it when you follow us there. It allows us to keep this going. Tell your friends, tell your family. We have some incredible stuff coming up through the holiday season. Lots of really good guests. Keep your questions coming because we do book guests according to what you want to see, and we answer all of your questions. So at LifeGLOSS Podcast. So as always, Susan, I'm going to keep you glossy. I'm going to
Keep
send
me
this.
glossy, friend. Send it my way. Stay glossy.
Stay glossy, Susan.